Hi, everybody.
Hello. We're live. We're alive. We're alive on Facebook.
You okay?
No,
You sound like you've got.
it's early in the. Well, I guess
It's
it's not
not
that
early.
early.
It's nine
All right,
o'clock
it's too
in
early viewing
Pacific
this.
time.
Okay, we're live.
So we thought we would talk about dealing with moods in relationship.
We did.
What's
I
going
don't know. I
on?
had something on my nose. Sounds like fly thing.
You don't want to talk about that?
No, I do. Yeah, that's a good idea. It's a good idea. Let's do it.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. So one of the things that we often get questions about, but Angus and I have also had to have a really pretty steep learning curve, especially early on in our relationship, was dealing with each other's low moods.
Mm-hmm.
And the pattern that showed up for us is that I had a tendency to get negative and down and in a low mood. Moody. And Angus would think he was trying to help and would try to get me out of my low mood, and it would just make me I would feel it would, and it didn't make me, but it felt at the time that his attempts to help me pretty much went in the complete opposite direction, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I think that what's going on now, through my level of understanding, my current level of understanding, I can see how inauthentic I was in how I was showing up and how I was trying to deal with your mood. So you may be, as I thought at the time, wallowing in self-pity. But in my mind, what was going on is that I have a level of impatience that wants to get back to well-being as quickly as possible. So I think that what I would do is I present myself in a way where I'm this loving boyfriend and want to try and give you logical reasons as to why you shouldn't feel this way and what you can do to get out of that state of mind. But behind that facade is this like pretty high level of impatience for this want and need to get us back to well-being as quickly as possible. And really, I guess to get myself back to well-being, because I didn't like you being in this state of mind. So it was sort of, I guess that was me being very codependent. So I think what's interesting, I think in partnership and perhaps in any kind of relationships, there is a whole other level of communication that's going on. It's above and beyond how we think that we're presenting. So I was presenting myself in a way which I thought I was doing this very good job of acting out, this loving boyfriend who wants to help and get you back on the straight and narrow. But really behind it all was this agenda to sort of like get back to well-being. And you're obviously picking that up. And I'm basically, all I'm doing in that situation, trying to fix you, is throwing more fuel on the fire. And then starting to feel resentful that you're not appreciative of how I'm showing up being this loving boyfriend wanting to help. So it's just like, now looking back, it's such a glorious thing to see how all I needed to ever do was just like take my hands off the controls, stand back, leave well alone, and you'll just figure things out for yourself.
Yeah, that would have been helpful.
I know, but I had no,
Yeah.
I had no sense that that would be the right way to move forward at that time.
Well, what it looked like to you was that in order for you to feel good, you needed me to feel good, and so you wanted me to feel good so that you could be happy.
Exactly. And it was a purely selfish act.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize that at the time.
No, it was innocent at the time.
Yeah.
And that's really what's so key, is recognizing that when, like now, and even now we can still fall into that, maybe in lesser ways. I think just the other day, you were reactive, and I wanted you not to be reactive because it felt like it was impacting my peace of mind. So it's not that we have to somehow become superhuman.
It was, I think at the time, there was an implication that I was some kind of spiritual Neanderthal.
Well, those are your
I
words.
was way behind the curve.
And really, I was way behind the curve because I was saying that to you. That's the irony of it all.
I know. And I was very clever because I was tempted to throw that back in your direction, but I decided to hold back.
Yeah. But now at least what happened, at least in that situation, is I realize if I'm upset because Angus is in a low mood, that's a reflection of my state of mind. That's really where I want to recognize that I'm out of balance is not because he's out of balance, because if I was in balance, I would have been okay with you not being in a good mood, with you being reactive. It would have been something where I would have recognized, like you said, oh, he's just not in a great mood. He's going to eventually stabilize. No problem for me. But I took it personally. And it looked in that moment like, oh, if he were in a better mood, I would be feeling better. I don't like what he's saying to me, or, you know, I can't even remember what it was now. But the shift was that I woke up to that was coming from inside of me much more quickly than I would have done in the past. And you didn't even take the bait when I criticized you, which is huge. So in order to navigate each other's moods more gracefully, the more that you can see that your partner's state of mind does not create how you feel, that what you're feeling is really only ever a reflection of your own state of mind, is coming from inside of you. So you can feel okay if your partner's in a great mood and not a good mood, and you can feel not okay, you know, no matter what's going on with them. It's really not a one-to-one relationship. And that's where there's so much more freedom and so much less conflict in our relationship as a result of being able to see that, because we both know to settle our own mind. We both know to take care of ourselves and be kind to ourselves more quickly, rather than focusing on trying to fix or change the other person.
Yeah, that's beautifully said. I think that that part of the whole shtick, if you like, is to have an awareness around the best possible place that I can show up in this experience of your eye being out of balance, is to look for the neutrality. And the neutrality is actually where the self-soothing comes in, because if our partner can recognize that we're able to keep a place of neutrality in the face of them being out of balance, there's something that really, I don't know if it's osmosis, whatever, however that level of communication unfolds, is if our partner can recognize neutrality in the face of them feeling out of balance, I think there's something very self-soothing in that.
And another way to say neutrality is really to look in the direction of love, or to look in the direction of your own well-being. And it's not selfish. It's actually, not only is it good for you, but it's good for the relationship. And so in the face of somebody who's upset, somebody who's reactive, somebody who's maybe not behaving their best, rather than looking to try and change what's up with them, if you can look in the direction of your own wisdom, of your own knowing, of your own peace of mind, rather than that being a selfish act, that actually it contributes to the well-being of the relationship.
Yeah. And it's also good to recognize your partner's gone a little bit crazy. And if you recognize they've gone a little bit crazy, it's also perhaps easy to see how they're actually suffering. Yeah. And that's, I think, the path to neutrality.
And that was one of the huge shifts that I felt, was that because I was very critical and reactive of your temper, your anger, your irritability. And so I was not neutral at all. I was completely stirred up typically when that was going on. And when I realized that it wasn't coming from outside of me, that my stirred upness was inside of me, and when I felt more connected to my own peace of mind and my own well-being, I naturally saw that you were suffering.
Right.
I naturally had compassion for you. I naturally showed up in a really different way that was not critical, that was not judgmental, that was genuinely and authentically compassionate. And it wasn't a technique that I was trying on, like, I'm going to show up as compassionate Rohini right now. Like, it was genuine. I saw it.
Yeah. Otherwise, in that sense, you would show up as being a seething, loving being.
Well, that's what you were doing.
That's what I was doing.
Exactly.
A seething, loving being. I like that.
Oh, we got Nick Mead on saying he never behaves.
I know. Well, that's obviously, I would expect it to go any other way. But Mr. Mead.
Well, thanks everybody for showing up. And also wanted to remind you, in case you don't know, if you'd like to spend time with us live, we're doing a workshop July 19th through 21st in Santa Monica. But it's not just with us. We have Amy Johnson, who's a best-selling author. We have Barb Patterson, who's the global
business guru.
Global business guru. We have Scott Kelly, who's the health guru. So if you want to spend time with us in Santa Monica, it's available live, both in person and live streaming. I'll put the link in the text above, and maybe you'll join us. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.